My wonderful, beautiful, amazing Libras. I'm Gabriella from Gabriella's Vampire Tarot. And for this evening, since we are pretty much closing in on the All Hallows Eve, oh my goodness, it's like I think we are now pretty much about 3 or 2 days away from it. But anyway, so as per promise, it's like I have the Vlad Dracula Tarot for this week because, if I don't get a chance to wish you all a happy Halloween, All Hallows Eve, I just want to wish you guys a wonderful, wonderful, fabulous evening. I hope you guys will pretty much, enjoy this wonderful, just honoring, the deceased, and it's kind of like how we're, how there's a veil between, but, anyway, please feel free to even stay tuned and stick around for October 31st, the grand performance. So, but anyway, it's like, as you can see in the icon or in the thumbnail, whatever the humans or you guys call it and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, you'll see how the the spread is laid out in the 11 card Vlad Dracula Tarot spread. I'm not going to be talking about the historical parts of each card, but I will talk about like the titles and especially the card numbers. Like, for example, for number 1, you get the Chariot, Cancer energy. So card 1, the significator forms the base of the cross. Everything in this cross will be built upon this foundation. Okay, what I see here is you are incredibly inspired and motivated. So, and you're pretty much have this like real passionate drive because, in the Rider-Waite deck, outside of the Dracula version, of course, is you see this individual, like being led by 2, I think, Sphinx cats or something on this chariot. You're pretty much just in full gear. You're just heading off towards, your destination, your goal, what have you, in other ways. So it's like, even in the general reading, whenever I do the past, present, future readings, the 9-card spread, and I show you guys the general card, and this is kind of like the general card. It's like the general feeling is you just have so much, this real drive and stuff like that. So, well, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Just to have this like real sense of motivation. I mean, I wish I sometimes had this drive within me as well. I mean, I only have, yeah, I do have Cancer rising, so, but anyway. But we'll move forward with number 2. So number 2, you get, the Empress. Virgo energy, one of your neighboring cards. Okay. Card 2, crossing the significator. This card represents the challenges that will have to be overcome in order to achieve the desired outcome. Well, why would an Empress of new beginnings, potential abundance and stuff be considered a challenge? Is maybe, it's like this is kind of a challenge of having to embrace new beginnings. And I know it's easier said than done. The thing is when you're actually entering into like any kind of new phase, rebirthing moments, any kind of like, because we're pretty much heading off towards the 2026. We're now kind of in the new year cycle, because Virgo is practically like the beginning time of like the new year cycle. So maybe you're just kind of still gradually entering into this new challenge of having to embrace new beginnings, new ideas, anything new. And the reason why it's a challenge, and of course you probably already know that, is because it's packed with uncertainty. Anything new is unusual. Anything unusual is potentially, dangerous or a threat, right? Because, it's like you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what to say. Oh, yeah, if I, invite, this new person into my life, if I invite this new idea, if I even, like pursue this new goal and stuff like that, is it definitely going to be a guaranteed outcome? Or is it going to be a struggle? Because that's the problem. You just don't know what to expect from anything new. So I understand that completely. Because then we get off towards, or head off in other ways towards number 3. Ooh, if you get the Tower, your opposite sign. I'm Aries myself, okay. So card 3 above the significator. This shows the skill or ability you'll need to have in order to achieve the desired outcome. Well, the thing is about the Tower is it's kind of like a silver lining, like having to watch something break down. Or you could try to patch things up or try to mend it or mitigate it as much as possible. But I feel like that, you have this desire to want to actually try to fix something. And that's the thing, it's like, well, maybe, you're fixing, your current relationship. Maybe you're trying to fix, like, maybe a potential, outcome of maybe facing, like, having, to, struggle, or, maybe you have to put in a lot of hard work into your job or career, whatever it may be. So, I mean, we just actually, we had the, the new moon in Libra, so, I wonder how that even impacted you. If you're pretty much like, hey, kind of, because, the new moon is kind of like the new phase, and that's why, the challenge is having to embrace the new beginnings, right? So that's why, it's pretty much, either, this is pretty much about wanting to take action in other ways. You just want to do something. You just don't want to watch something break down. Or, in other ways, you have to watch something break down because then you can actually, bring in like new beginnings of the Empress, right? So, then we head off towards card number 4. Ooh, 10 of Cups, happy home, happy hearth, happy family, but also abundance. So card 4 above the above card 3, this is the first bar of the cross, forming the basis of future and past events. This specific card represents present circumstances. Well, need I say more? Well, you probably have a very loving and supportive home, happy hearth, happy family, maybe with even abundance. Maybe you have a very good career, salary, and what have you. Or especially, with the happy home, happy hearth, happy family, feeling confidence within yourself and to say, yes, I can handle this. I can do this. Nothing. I have this motivation within me. You probably have, hopefully all of the above, but you could also have just happy home, happy hearth, happy family. Maybe, you're still kind of working on your confidence, or maybe you're still working on, your abundance for that matter as well. So, but I think that in current times that this is a very beautiful, it's kind of, more or less a grounded kind of card, even though you would think that earth is more or less the grounded kind of card and water is more, but water is incredibly healing, very nurturing and supportive and stuff. So, yeah, it just shows that, with this new beginning, it just seems like, you probably need to have a little bit more support, right? So, and then we head off towards card number 5. High Priestess, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy. Okay. So card 5 above 4. This is the second bar of the cross. It shows the highest possible outcome and is an indication of what will be. What do we know about the High Priestess? Your experience. That's the thing. And that's why, the challenge is maybe you've actually had like negative experiences when you embrace new ideas, new beginnings, new people into your life that was nothing but just, problems with tower moments and stuff like that. But I feel like that the outcome is that you're going to be gaining so much insight, experience, your senses and intuition are just going to be very, caring and supportive of, this whole, well, new beginnings of yours and stuff like that. So I feel like that the High Priestess, as one of the outcomes, because we still have to look at 10 and 11 eventually, but this is one of the outcomes of that you're pretty much going to gain new insight. And maybe, this tower moment has to happen because it's pretty much, what you're going to be accumulating in your upper book of knowledge. Now this, whoever this person is, the Vlad's Transylvanian princess probably doesn't have her the upper book of knowledge in other ways, but the High Priestess most definitely has it. So anyway, now we're going to head off towards 6 and 7. Now we're going to look at 6 for a sec. Ooh, you get strength, Leo energy. Okay, so, well, number 6 is about immediate future. Okay, I see confidence because, with a lot of insight and experience, you're going to be learning so much and you're going to be enhancing that 10 of Cups moments with this beautiful strength card. Maybe you personally have Leo placements in other ways as well. But this is a very beautiful reading. It looks a little bit, I was kind of a little bit worried, but of course, it's like, well, don't mind me, a vampire, a vampiress, just kind of, just feeling, different senses and stuff like that. But I actually realized it was actually going to be okay for you because you'll have a lot of confidence, especially in current times. So pretty soon, you'll gain a lot more experience and insight and senses and stuff like that. And you're going to feel incredibly brave about it. Because number 7 is about the immediate past. You got Lovers. Ooh. Your brother, sister, air sign of Gemini. So this is pretty much, how you probably gained a lot of insight and it opened up more opportunities for you. And that's the thing is, it's like, there's no end solution or conclusion to everything in particular. The point is that, it's like, well, you probably, will gain a lot of insight. Maybe you did have abundance. Maybe you had good resources, networking, what have you in other ways. Because the Lovers is definitely that you were at a crossroads and you got to choose. But maybe this was also kind of like a personal choice where you pretty much had to choose, do I want to stay in this, like maybe, negative situation or maybe negative mindset for so long, or fear or anxiety or frustration? Or do I want to try to, hope for the best? And that's why you got strength afterwards. At least in the immediate future. And then we're going to head off towards 8 and 9. So 8 is about the distant future. You get 8 of Cups. So I see you walking away from something. You know, I think, you know, do whatever it has to take, because the point is, you know, there's not always going to be, the right answer, the wrong answer. The point is that, you know, it's like, I feel like, you know, because the human and I, we were actually talking about this. And, you know, we were actually, you know, thinking how, you know, the gift of this world that we are actually living in is practically just how we're, you know, gaining so much experience, stuff like that, that we actually have this opportunity to be able to understand this world in, you know, so many ways and stuff like that, and how you could taste different flavors, you can feel different senses and stuff like that. But this also kind of gives you, you know, the chance to try out new things as well. So I just see, you know, it's like that there's a lot of silver lining gifts and opportunities being presented to you, because for number 9, for the distant past, you got the 7 of Cups, options and opportunities. Again, need I say more? You got Lovers below that, of being at a crossroads. 7 of Cups of being, you know, presented with 7 different challenges, you know, chalices, in the sense of thinking, well, which one are you going to choose from? So I feel like, you know, it's not entirely like, you know, I mean, you do get the 10 of Cups, which is a very grand card, but this is so far a wonderful, valuable. I feel like that today's reading is really valuable to Libras and Libra placements out in this world. So, and now we get to cards 10 and 11 and the outcomes of all outcomes. So, I'm going to put the book away. You get 5 of Swords as number 10, winning some big battle, and then you get the Queen of Swords, so 2 of your wonderful cards, because here you are pretty much winning some kind of battle. Maybe this is an internal battle, internal conflict with yourself, but I just see you actually winning this battle, and now you're going to move forward with more plannings, more logical thinking. You know, you're just going to be learning so much, at least for this week, and even though we're a few days away from All Hallows Eve, this pretty much should still resonate even a week after, and so forth, what have you, in other ways as well, because I feel like that, you know, these readings are just very, very important, actually way more important than just constantly saying, oh yeah, it's, you know, you get the Wheel of Fortune and you get this and you get that. I mean, I would always hope for the best for all of my beautiful followers and fledglings and humans, but I sometimes feel like that these readings are actually a bit more beneficial in other ways as well. So, you know, we're winning battles, and then it'll pretty much open up more ways to actually start planning ahead, able for upcoming, you know, battles and stuff like that, and upcoming winnings and guarantees in other ways as well. Okay. Well, it's a little bit shorter than usual, but I felt like I just wanted to kind of get to the point as quickly as possible instead of going around in circles, repeating myself and stuff. So I hope that doesn't really discourage anybody all too much. But other than that, I'm going to have to leave it at this for my beautiful, amazing Libras, Libra placements on this world. If this reading resonated, please feel free to join, subscribe, and please feel free to stay tuned for October 31st, this Friday. Other than that, I love you guys incredibly. I want to wish you all the best of luck on where this journey may take you. It just seems like it's very, you know, a very important, you know, reading for today. You know, it's like I've mentioned so many financial stuff, but now I just kind of want to actually, you know, also give you a good sense of hope that you'll have options and opportunities. You have confidence within yourself. Yes, you're walking away probably from whatever's not benefiting you in other ways as well. But other than that, I love this because, you know, try to embrace new beginnings. But I always feel like it's always listen to your gut instinct, and especially, you know, the High Priestess backing you up in other ways to verify it all. But other than that, I love you guys incredibly. Thank you so much for joining me. And yeah, next week I'll go back to general readings and stuff like that. But anyway, have a wonderful All Hallows Eve. Happy Halloween. I love you guys incredibly. And as per usual, take excellent good care of yourself.